Hey everyone, here's a quick 5-minute foam rolling sequence to use at the end of your workday. We're going to start with the foam roller horizontal, and you're going to sit down in front of it. The foam roller is going to start right at the base of your shoulder blades. So we're focusing on the upper back here to start, letting the edges of the shoulder blades touch the roller. Hands come behind your head. Lift your hips up off the ground and then start to roll forward and backwards just over the top part of your back. Shoulder blades to right below the neck. Starting to take a couple deep breaths in through your nose until you can't fit anymore. And then out through your nose or mouth, emptying all the way out before starting back over. Just starting to add in a little bit of movement as you roll forward and backwards. So maybe leaning a little bit to the right side or leaning a little to the left. Looking for any really loud spots in the body that we need to pay a little bit more attention to. If you feel any of those spots, give a little extra care to that spot so you can linger over that side that's tight for a couple extra seconds. Or maybe take the movement out and just hold still over that spot. Emphasizing that full breath in each time and that full breath out. And I want you to feel free to keep moving on with any of these exercises or any of these positions that feel really good for you. For the sake of time, I'm going to keep moving. We're going to end with the roller underneath the shoulder blades. Hands are still clasped behind the head. And think of this roller as something to arc over from the upper back, not from the low back. So right down here isn't going to move, just from the chest and from the head and shoulders, leaning back over the roller, getting a huge stretch across your chest. Head is really heavy, pressing into the hands. And then pull the elbows together, draw your chin into your chest, give a gentle stretch on the back of the neck. And then open the elbows out wide, let the head fall into your hands. Again, moving from the chest instead of from the low back. And then draw your elbows together, chin to chest, feel a little stretch through the back of the neck. One more each way, lingering in each spot this time. So holding down at the bottom for a couple extra seconds. Maybe trying to pull the elbows apart to deepen that stretch across the chest. Coming back to that big breath in and out. And then tucking your chin into your chest one more time, elbows draw together. This time very gently tipping one ear up toward the ceiling. Almost like you're trying to press your ear through that little triangle of your elbow and your shoulder. Feeling that stretch across the back of the neck, shift just a little bit from side to side. And then releasing your head and sitting all the way up. And then we're going to keep the roller in that horizontal shape, and you're going to turn over into a tabletop position, coming down into a forearm plank with your quads on the roller. I think my feet are out of screen, but my feet are actually up off the ground. Being mindful not to just drop the stomach and the ribs toward the floor, instead kind of hugging them up away from the ground, some integrity through the spine, and then starting to just shift forward and backwards across the front of the legs. Now, especially at the end of a workday, I like to focus a little more on the upper part of the leg. Think like the hip flexor that's been bent all day long. For me, that looks like leaning to one side and really trying to focus just on one hip flexor at a time. Depending on how often you roll, that might look a little different for you. Maybe it's still both legs, very even. You can try turning your toes in one direction or the other, see if that adds any intensity to it. And then try not to turn away from that intensity. So we're not trying to make it the easiest that it could be. That sounds a little mean, but you want to work where your body feels like it needs that release, where it feels like it needs that stretch. If I wasn't trying to make this video short, I would stay here for much, much longer, but we're just gonna take about 2 more deep breaths here, still trying to fill all the way up on your inhale and empty all the way back out before starting over again. All right, and then our very last one is just gonna be to turn the roller vertical now. So you're looking at it long ways. You're gonna sit your butt right at the front edge of the foam roller and lie all the way down on your back. If you have a half foam roller, this one isn't gonna work for you. You might wanna go back to that first back roll or go back to your quads. So this only works on the long roller. You should feel very secure on here. Tailbone has some support underneath it. The back of your head has some support underneath it. Take a moment to check in with the curve in the back of your neck. Make sure that it's present. So there's a little bit of space underneath the cervical spine. The back of the ribs feel heavy on the roller. There might be a little bit of space underneath the lumbar spine, underneath your low back. And then your sacrum should feel really heavy on the roller as well. Feet are just gonna stay flat on the floor, knees are bent. Arms open up to the side. For some of us, this is plenty. We don't need to do anything but breathe in this position, trying to get the hands to touch the ground. It's okay if they're up here, don't worry about that, as long as you're not working to hold them up there. So really trying to let them be heavy. Feeling that opening across the collarbones and the chest. And then if you want to make this a little bit more intense from this position, just starting a few snow angels. Reaching the arms back behind you and dropping them down by your sides. Be mindful that we're not lifting the arms up in an attempt to make that snow angel. So heavy arms over movement. And breathe. And stop holding any extra tension in the front of those shoulders. And this is where I'm going to leave you. I would love if you took an extra few minutes past this video to just feel that opening through the chest. Maybe pick a spot that feels tight and hold and breathe for a couple seconds. You don't have to move at all. You could truly just breathe, but enjoy this for the next few moments and yeah, try it again tomorrow after your workday as well.